No, boy, you need to start getting your ass up at 8.
Oh, in that case, I haven't set on 8 o'clock.
Normal function of getting up, exercising, and reading. There's a lot of things you never do. Told
I
you.
just said. Yeah. I don't know where you get the weed from, but I'm
You
sure
nigga, the dumb chick.
last year
Probably would have thrown me out of your office.
We didn't want to exercise.
That's why you get an F. Not participate.
I do.
You was fine when they would make you do it in there, son.
Listen, I think we really got off on the wrong
And
foot.
you say
with the beat.
and you say we
Do you really?
and
That's not fair.
And it's
you
my
don't
fault.
like doing that.
You will be sent to film.
Exercise.
I was wrong.
You're being too hard on yourself.
No,
You're
no,
losing big
I
things
just
because of
wish
the way
there was
you are,
something,
man.
anything
I
I could
just
do, even if it meant
don't have
oh,
PE after we done.
accepting the dumb check if it came to that. Just to show you how sorry I really am.
Could you bring
You know
yourself
what? I
to that
should
show?
start wrapping my feet with saran wrap and putting Vaseline on it.
What's
I
saran
don't want
wrap?
to come between us.
Wrap it up,
I wouldn't mind it, I
just
swear.
wrap it around
Oh,
here
again.
and put some Vaseline
That
and make
makes
it
sense.
softer. I'm not gonna go
Because you
bother
want to know the truth.
We used it all up.
It really isn't the money that matters. What matters
I wouldn't
my
want
brother's
to know who
happiness.
used it.
I just hope for his
Yes.
sake you can forgive
Use
me for
what?
all the stupid, narrow-minded
Vaseline was what? Wait, what's
things
I
I
wouldn't
said
want to
earlier.
know.
Oh, the necklace.
I already have.
Why wouldn't it be
I really wouldn't want to know. Hey, not good. What's on now? It's August 3rd, Tuesday.
Today.
What's today? Huh?
This is a commercial for Warning.
What's it, Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Wicked Attraction.
Out from Google with sleep sensing that uses motion and sound to
Wicked
monitor
Attraction now.
insights and tips.
And Nectar Mattresses come with a 365 night home trial and emergency policy.
Get up to
What do you-
$498
Really?
in accessories with your Nectar Premier, including a new desktop with sleep
Fuck
sensing.
Sleep like a pro.
Thrive Market's here, and your life's about to get way easier. We save you tons on organic groceries, so you can get everything from pantry favorites to non-toxic cleaning essentials to sustainable meat and seafood. And without the big retail markups, you'll save up to 30% on the best products. We'll deliver what you need, so you can get back to your busy day. Join now and get $20 off your first order.
Riding into the darkest corners of your worst nightmares. Surviving cults and the houses of extreme believers. Crossing the yellow tape to solve what hasn't been. Adultery, jealousy,
Who rapping
rage,
today?
and murder. Missing among the mist to be found unjustifiably. A reporter shining a light on injustice. Crime stories told by the source. All this from Podcast One. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
I said, so let me ask y'all
Let
in
me
the
tell
crowd.
you what experience epic heroes.
I did that first to Arsenal too.
Explosions,
See, I don't fucking respect it. I just want to know, when you go this red hands, what the fuck is your message? Listen, Hollow. I said, listen, Hollow. I am the greatest. Listen, I am the greatest. I do believe in the hype. But let's say niggas don't think I'm Jordan. And Mook laughing because he thinking he might.
They're very impulsive. They have judgment.
Break it back one time.
Quick changes.
I said, yes, I am the greatest. And I do believe in the hype. But let's say for a second, y'all don't think I'm Jordan. Y'all all thinking Mook is Mike. But when Mook's little daughter get older and they go to ask her who the God, she not going to remember Michael Jordan. But she always going to remember LeBron. I'm about 6'8". Listen, I'm about 6'8". I'm about 6'8", 6'9", 250. Niggas get scared when I come to the fucking basket. I jump in traffic. They say I'm not aggressive because I might up and pass it. Well, y'all still think I'm talking about I'm LeBron. Now I'm old school. I fuck with Magic. I compared myself to him because I'm sick and my son is faggot.
Ooh, nigga did it.
or sometimes suicide attempts that may be manipulative, or they may actually cut on themselves in order to relieve the feeling of tension that's internal to them. Elizabeth's animosity toward her parents stems from a strong sense of abandonment.
Elizabeth has always had a rocky relationship with her parents, ever since they sent her away to boarding school. Eventually, this relationship grew more strained because she felt that her parents really didn't care about her. They just wanted to get rid of her.
I think by the time Elizabeth got to college, she was extremely resentful and extremely angry.
I didn't even value you for myself.
Elizabeth refuses to let her parents rule her life.
Elizabeth Hazen is very intelligent, very determined, very strong-willed. She's going to get what she wants no matter what it takes to get it.
I told you
She does that by exploiting others.
in the first round, I said make sure your 30s
Borderline personality disordered individual, almost without fail, develops great capacity to manipulate.
And in Yen's soaring, Elizabeth finds her puppet.
It's only about 5 hours left on the day. Hey, Mr. Nine.
Elizabeth sees something in Jens. This is the guy Jens is not experienced sexually. He's probably never even kissed a girl. Jens is very attracted to Elizabeth because of the sexuality that she exudes. Elizabeth is more interested in Jens on an intellectual basis, but if she has to use sex to get what she wants, she will.
By January 1985, Elizabeth and Jens are dating seriously.
The couple meshed very well. Jens was entirely, absolutely in love with Elizabeth. He would do anything she said.
With Jens all to herself, Elizabeth continued the manipulation. Now inseparable, when they go home for the holidays, they write to each other constantly. In her letters, Elizabeth tells Jens about the abuse she suffers at the hands of her parents and how much she hates them. Jens learns to hate them too.
Jens is guided by sex. In effect, Elizabeth said, I'll give you all the sex you want, you just do what I want you to do. Jens was entirely submissive to anything she wanted.
Investigators in Bedford County now have to wonder if Jens is so completely under Elizabeth's spell that he would even help her commit murder.
Money, use it when you need it.
No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
Dr. Locke! Take a journey through time and space with some of your favorite doctors. From William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton to Tom Baker and John Pertwee. Tune in and discover their adventures on the classic Doctor Who channel. Available now for free on Pluto TV.
The nurse is going, Luke.
Right now on NBC News Now.
We begin with one giant leap forward in the space race.
Bezos making it very clear this is the first step of many to come.
Speaking out against laws that they feel would make it harder for Texas voters to cast their ballots. The issue here is not that vaccines aren't available. They say the issue is that people are choosing not to get vaccinated.
We have a team of correspondents covering this breaking story for us today.
This is NBC News Now, streaming free 24/7.
This is our moment. Be true. Stand. Diane, just work with me. I can't change.
No, them niggas was hitting them balls.
Can't argue with results.
Them niggas say, "This is Michael Jordan."
Let's get this party started.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
If there's anybody who can do this, it's you.
Close calls make you live harder.
Look at the attraction.
Authorities in Bedford County, Virginia, now suspect Elizabeth Haysom and her boyfriend, Jens Soring, are responsible for the murder of Elizabeth's parents.
We learned through the investigation that she had experimented with some pretty hard drugs, heroin and whatnot.
She would leave home anytime. One time she left and took off to Germany, and the family didn't know where she was at, and Mr. Miss Haysom finally got Interpol involved and brought her back home.
Further investigation reveals that Elizabeth has not been entirely truthful with authorities.
Elizabeth was telling us that she had a great family life with her parents, great relationship. But from talking to some of her friends, we was learning different.
Taste that tea.
She hated her parents.
That way, you're gonna make that.
So we were getting two stories there.
On the surface, Elizabeth seems very suspicious, but investigators have no idea what lies beneath.
Violent thoughts are common among borderline personality disordered individuals. Oftentimes, the violence is towards themselves, wanting to destroy or injure or maim themselves.
It would be almost inevitable that she would develop some form of mental dysfunction and turn her anger and her frustration to other individuals.
Some nutty cookies over there.
Elizabeth is brilliant, angry, and
Yeah, that's
damaged,
what I said. You got the voice and the
but that doesn't make her a murderer. Delving deeper, investigators review Elizabeth's prior statements and test her alibi, the weekend trip she and Jens took to Washington, D.C.
We checked with the rental car business in Charlottesville and was able to get the actual rental car agreement. Right off the top, we could see that there was excessive miles on that rental car that weekend.
They put 429 extra miles on the vehicle going to D.C.
The extra mileage is roughly a round trip from Washington, D.C. to Elizabeth's parents' house.
I brought that to our attention the second time that I spoke with Elizabeth. And that's when she told me that she and he had gotten lost.
You don't ride around for 6 and 8 hours lost in Washington, D.C. and not find your way to your destination. It just doesn't happen. I'm no rocket scientist, but I know if I'm lost for 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to stop and ask somebody how to get out of here. They didn't do that.
Elizabeth finally admits what the police already know, that she had a rocky relationship with her parents, and they rejected her boyfriend.
Mr. Haysom made it very plain to Jens that he did not want Elizabeth seeing him. He flat told him that Elizabeth was just basically better than he was. Too good for him.
Elizabeth viewed the rejection of Jens by her parents as essentially yet another rejection. It was just adding more fuel to this ever-mounting fire of discontent, hostility, and anger that was building.
A father's disapproval of his daughter's boyfriend hardly seems motive for murder. But investigators need to be sure.
I had asked her if she would give us her fingerprints, her blood, and anatomical footprints so that we could eliminate her as a suspect in her parents' death, which she gave freely.
The footprints of Elizabeth came back. It didn't match what we had. It eliminated her. It didn't put her in the house at the time of the homicides.
That leaves Jens Soren. Police bring him in for questioning.
His demeanor that day was very arrogant. He was very cocky. He gave me the impression that he thought that he was smarter than anybody else. In fact, he told us that he was appalled that we were even considered him or even needed to talk to him. He certainly didn't look like a person who could commit double homicide and butcher two people up. But I don't know what a person like that looks like.
When Jens refuses to give blood or print samples, investigators turn to a classic ploy.
Ricky and I kind of played the good guy, the bad guy.
While I was playing the bad cop and basically accusing Jens of murdering the Hazels because he wouldn't cooperate with us, Chuck kept reassuring him that he said, I know you didn't do it. I know you weren't capable of doing that. Just to prove him wrong, why don't you go ahead and give us your fingerprints? Why don't you cooperate? And then I would say the reason he won't give it to us is because he did it.
But Jens won't take the bait. He calmly corroborates Elizabeth's story about getting lost traveling to Washington, D.C.
I said, well, in my mind, I'm 99% sure that you're not guilty of this. But that 1% is still there. And if you will submit to the footprints and the fingerprints and the blood, then you can clear up that 1% for me and prove 100% that you're not guilty.
Jens agrees to think about it. After the interviews, police begin to get a clearer picture of Elizabeth and Jens.
They're madly in love with each other. But once you talk to them, you see that Elizabeth is the manipulator and the leader between the two.
Then on the following Wednesday, I got a call from Jens. And Jens told me that he had thought about it and he had consented and he would meet with me the following week.
The night before the appointment, investigators receive a frantic call from Elizabeth's brother, Howard.
Okay, see you later. And he was saying, I told you they did it. I told you they did it. They're gone. You've let them get away.
Elizabeth and Jens have disappeared. Get more Wicked Attraction online.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by RootMetrics, and our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power, proving there's only one best network.
When you're flying, you're just blown away.
I'm a freedom junkie.
I believe that fear is what brings the joy. You gotta be very precise about what you pick to do. It's a risky sport. It's insane.
Men, want to feel younger, stronger, leaner? You don't have to slow down after 40. Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever. Text VERY to 369-369 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. That's VERY to 369-369.
Life is very big and unknown.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you're gonna be.
Let's talk about this for a minute. Why? There's only one way this ends. Last man standing.
Let's make some happy little clouds in our world. Let's come right up here. All we do is just sort of have an idea in our mind, and we just sort of let it happen. And when you're painting, make up little stories. Think about the scene that you're painting. Become part of it. Make friends with a tree.
Investigators on a double homicide in Virginia hit a major roadblock when their prime suspects go on the run.
As much as we want them to make a move some way or another to prove the point to us that we was on the right track and they were guilty, I was like, oh gosh, now what do we do?
They searched the apartment for any clues to their whereabouts.
When Jens and Elizabeth disappeared, they did so completely. Their family did not know where they were. The police didn't know where they were. And they just disappeared.
Investigators suspect they fled to Europe since they had both previously lived there.
So we had contacted some of the airports, and about 3 days later, we received word that his car had been found at the airport in Newark, New Jersey.
The pair left no clues in the car and no money in their bank accounts. The evidence against them is only circumstantial, so Interpol can't issue an international manhunt. But Virginia authorities urge them to be on the lookout.
Just have to bide our time and hope for the best and wait till something happens. We know they left for a reason. We know they're guilty.
But police know their fugitives have extensive experience traveling the world and are fluent in many languages. They could be anywhere.
Elizabeth and Jens first go to London, but they don't stay there long. I'm not sure why they move on, but they go to Thailand. They have a little scheme going involving traveler's checks. They go into the underworld to a certain extent, where Jens and Elizabeth have false IDs made. And then for some reason, they decide to go back to London.
The pair research the English banking system, and with fake Canadian IDs, they open a bank account. Jens and Elizabeth move to Canterbury, England, where they blend in as Canadian exchange students. They devise a scheme to get more money.
Elizabeth and Jens decide to target a very prominent upscale department store chain in London. And the way they operate this is they go into a store and they buy a number of high value items and pay for it with a check that turns out to be hot. Before the check can bounce, they take those items and go to another branch of the same store and return them for cash.
Their plan works for a while. But on April 30th, 1986, they attract the attention of a store clerk.
She calls over an off-duty policeman and expresses her suspicion to him. And he follows them around and then decides to take them to the police station. Jens and Elizabeth are anxious to divert the detectives' attention away from them. And using their false names, they create this false persona that Elizabeth is there to write a book, and Jens is going to enroll as a student at the University of Bath.
But the police are not convinced. Believing they may be involved in other crimes, police threaten to get a warrant to search their flat until Jens gives in and allows them to enter.
Since the UK has different privacy laws in the US, they don't have any problem. They just go and start digging in drawers and pulling out stuff from closets.
They find several bags of store merchandise with receipts and a description of what the two had worn during the purchases. They uncover a cache of fake IDs, including their true identification, and something far more ominous.
They start looking through these papers they have collected, including the diary and the letters they have written to each other, and they see mentions of a murder. But they don't know where the murder occurred, when it occurred, or how they are connected to this.
In one letter, Elizabeth tells Jens they could be happy if only her parents were dead.
Borderline personality disordered individuals are more prone to harbor rageful fantasies towards other people who have offended them.
The police have enough to hold the couple on check fraud while they sort out the mystery of the letters and diaries. Further examination of the correspondence points them in the right direction.
They found some letters in their belongings referring to myself and Investigator Gardner.
They, in fact, in the letters wrote that we were local yokels and that we didn't know what we were doing and that Reed and I had probably gotten fired.
On May 30th, 7 months after Jens and Elizabeth fled the country, investigators in Virginia get a surprising call from a British detective who says they have Jens and Elizabeth in custody.
Okay. And he said, were her parents murdered? And I said, yes, they were. And he says, I think we have the murderers locked up in our jail, and you may need to talk to them. I thought somebody was playing a real bad joke on me at first. I've got this person calling me on the phone who I have no idea who it is, and they're telling me this, and I don't know whether to cry or scream or what.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by RootMetrics, and our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power, proving there's only one best network.
Y es la fiesta, ¿verdad?
Salud.
Ven conmigo. Diviértete.
Fabuloso, ¿no?
Bienvenido a la familia.
¡Qué emoción!
Sometimes we get asked to take on problems where there's no right answer.
Tired fighting this battle.
If I want things to change, be the change.
I wish I could tell you every story has a happy ending. Truth is, most stories don't end at all.
There's nothing left.
My heart, I think, stopped beating.
Edinburgh pulled the car over. The driver was 30-year-old Jose Castillon, an orderly at a local nursing home.
I saw the forearm with the tattoo of a dagger on it. I was 2 or 3 seconds. I was speechless, because what's going through my mind now is this is the guy that everybody's been talking about.
Interestingly, Castillon's stepfather was a Texas police officer. Castillon's only previous brush with the law was a misdemeanor conviction for which he served no time in jail. When questioned, Castillon denied any involvement in the murders. Employment and motor vehicle records showed Castillon had recently moved to Texas from Colorado and bought a set of Commander brand snow tires when he was there. These were similar to the impressions found at the crime scene.
We saw a lot of uniformity between the tire impressions of the defendant's vehicle to the actual cast that we had taken from the crime scene. As far as tread design, tread size, the logo itself.
Investigators noticed the back window of Castillon's car was broken. Pieces of that window were compared to the glass found on the leg of one of the murder.
Yeah, if you blink, it'll catch you.
For the perpetrator. Both of them sustained a blitz-style attack for no reason. This person just started beating them up.
Both were taken upstairs to the bedrooms. They were both sexually assaulted on the beds.
There was some type of sexual curiosity after death, and both cases involved a sharp cutting tool and the use of a bathtub.
The method of murder is distinct, and cold case detectives believe growing progressively worse. In 1987, Michelle LaFon's death was a quick one. Not so 3 years later for Dina Kitchler. It appears the killer lingered over Kitchler, sexually assaulting her with a bar of soap and a screwdriver, and then cutting her hair after death.
There were some things that were done to the body from a sexual homicide standpoint. This person's playing with the body, and he's playing with the body based on his deviated sexual fantasies.
So he has graduated to doing more things, and he's carrying his fantasies or what have you farther with Dina.
When seen together, the LaFond and Kitchler slayings reveal the mind of a sexual sadist, one who is growing increasingly violent, and if not stopped, likely to hunt and kill again. In the course of his investigation, Asimos also contacts an old girlfriend of Brewer to ask about their relationship and hopefully gather some useful information.
One interesting thing that she told us was that John was obsessed with her in the bathtub. She said she couldn't turn the water on in the bathtub to take a bath without him showing up at the door
Brewer's girlfriend claims the suspect insisted on watching her take a bath and appeared to gain sexual pleasure from it. The story is another link in the chain of circumstance and coincidence that binds John Brewer to 2 murders in 2 separate states. Only one state, however, has a realistic chance of securing a conviction. Unlike Florida, the state of New Hampshire has a DNA profile of their suspect, obtained from semen recovered from Michelle LaFon's rape kit. Up until now, however, they have had no suspect for comparison. Florida provides the suspect and his DNA profile.
Well, I told him, we have John Brewer's DQ alpha numbers. How about let me just fax those up to you? So I pulled the laboratory report and faxed them up to Dave Kelly. About 20 minutes later, he called me back and very excited said, we've got a match. The DQ alpha numbers match.
The DNA match is enough to arrest Brewer for the murder of Michelle LaFond. Cold comfort for Jacksonville detectives, who want Brewer arrested on 2 counts of murder instead of 1.
At that point, we really said, okay, let's do everything we can to get Brewer charged with Michelle LaFond's homicide. Once we do that, then if the opportunity presents itself, then we'll take another crack with Dina's case.
People say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. And I think that too many. I say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast.
84% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. Makes sense. Managing your money can be hard. But what if there were a secret financial control center that helps you organize your spending by finding recurring charges and notifying you when they're due, so you can easily cancel unwanted subscriptions? Truebill helps you save money and lower your bills. Download Truebill, your all-in-one finance app.
This summer, let me tell you why you experience epic heroes, explosions, and sunglasses.
How do you do?
All the movies, all summer long.
I cannot believe it.
That was good. Popcorn Summer Movies, only on Pluto TV.
It's time to make the FBI great again. This will not be another Waco. Not on my watch. I said not on my watch, and I'm not wearing a watch.
So you all heard the rumors, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll check the schedule.
How good was that, Frank? From the rock. Presents itself, then we'll take another crack with Dina's case.
On October 23rd, New Hampshire Detective John Kelly confronts John Brewer in front of his Jacksonville home. He is there to bring Brewer in for questioning about the murder of Michelle LaFond. Kelly's case centers on semen found at the scene of the crime and linked to Brewer through DNA testing. Kelly, however, wants more.
I wanted to place him there. I mean, forensically, I had him there, but I really wanted to talk to him about why he may have been there.
At first, Brewer claims he never knew Michelle LaFond. Then, feeling the heat of a DNA match, the suspect adjusts his story. He tells Kelly he was having an affair with Michelle LaFond. They had sex the morning she died, and he left the house before she was murdered. The bruises on the victim's body tell Kelly otherwise. Whatever else she did that morning, the acts of sex Michelle LaFond endured were not consensual.
There's no question in my mind at that time that I was looking at the murderer of Michelle LaFond.
Kelly begins the extradition process to New Hampshire. Meanwhile, Brewer is handed over to Florida detectives. With the camera rolling, Brewer is questioned a second time, this time about the murder of Dina Kitchler.
I know when there was a struggle. Okay, I know you hit her. I know you did certain things to her. And I know she wasn't a willing participant in all this.
You go as far as you can go. You push that envelope as far as you could push it, but you've got to keep him still talking to you and comfortable with the interview.
And she did piss you off. I know you were mad. I know you were flat out mad. Something was bad. I don't know what she did. She pulled some stuff. She said, yeah, it's time to go. She threatened. Was it a little man or something? Or did she call you a certain name that pissed you off? Or did she slap you? Or did she do?
After more than 2 hours of interrogation, Brewer confesses to adultery and nothing more.
Sure, I wanted more. There was a lot of really brutal things that were done that would really kind of detail what type of person he is and how the later post-mortem mutilation went to that level. I wanted that. He didn't want to do that.
At the end of the day, Florida cannot gather enough evidence to charge Brewer in the Kitchler case. Instead, they pack him off to the airport and a date with a DNA match in New Hampshire.
Mr. Brewer, did you kill Michelle LaFond?
On April 17th, John Brewer walks into a New Hampshire courtroom, faced with the possibility of lethal injection. Brewer decides to cut his losses. He pleads guilty. In return, both states agree not to seek the death penalty, and Brewer is sentenced to life without parole. For cold case detectives, the conviction allows them to offer a bit of comfort for the families of two dead women. And perhaps more importantly, ensures that a sexual predator will spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Whether there's other people out there or not that we don't know about, I like to think that there won't be a third. Some person out there is going to be walking around today because of this investigation. I'd like to think that as a homicide detective, as a policeman, I think we all strive for that, and I think we've done that in this case.
Mr. Brewer, can you look at us? Did you kill Michelle LaFond?
You can see all that movie She should keep on showing.
I said, this is the tip line. I said, I have a tip for you. I said, what would that be? And he said, there's a serial killer on the loose. I said, okay, well, how can you prove it? He said, I'm going to tell you where you can find a body.
I was in the homicide office when the call came down that there was a DOA behind a Dairy Queen on Westview.
Ron Horowitz is a crime scene investigator for the city of Houston.
The young lady's body was laying approximately right here.
On a spring morning, he rolls to a murder call.
Her panties were dropped, pulled down to her knees.
The victim lies in the drive-through lane of the local street.
And she had this little rope tied around her neck with a piece of, I believe, dowel or wood.
Horowitz documents the scene on film, then turns his attention to physical evidence. Investigators recover semen from the young woman's mouth, scrapings from under her fingernails, and begin with a simple question. Who is the victim?
8th and El Dorado on somebody's yard. You understand, like the person was related to that person at the house or what?
At 11 a.m., 23-year-old Rosa Agreda turns on a local news broadcast. The lead story, a woman found dead at the Dairy Queen.
Over there?
Rosa spots something familiar about the victim, whose feet are peeking out of the sheet that covers her.
I looked at the TV, and the only thing I could see was her shoes.
What's wrong with you?
Rosa recognizes the white and gold shoes as identical to ones owned by her friend, Maria del Carmen Estrada. Maria was supposed to meet at Rosa's house earlier that morning.
No, somebody
never showed.
Oh, somebody.
Now Rosa
Somebody
sees
died
the
over here,
shoes
huh?
and wonders.
I said, no, it's not her.
That's over
It's
here,
not
huh?
her. She got to do. She's probably doing something else, and she forgot to tell me.
Eldorado's over there by where Twerk.
Rosa gets in the car and searches for her friend.
First place that I started looking for her was right here. This place. That was the store. I came in there and I said, well, she probably went to the store to buy something. This is the street that she walked.
After 10 hours of searching, Rosa comes up empty. There is, however, one last place to look. Under a white sheet behind the Dairy Queen. At 10 o'clock, she approaches a detective at the scene.
He showed me some pictures. I just started crying a lot and saying, it's not her, it's not her. Then he asked me again because I was saying that. Are you sure it's her? And I told him, maybe it's her.
Rosa Agreda identifies the body of her best friend, Maria Estrada. Houston Homicide investigates, questioning the victim's boyfriend, who has a solid alibi. Next, they turn to a list of known sex offenders, eliminating each in turn. 6 months after her body was discovered, Maria Estrada's murder remains unsolved, and her evidence is shifted to permanent storage
That's what
among
you
the
want to
cold
know.
file.
Was they related there or not? That's even worse. I'm like, damn, somebody killed somebody.
I got called at 12:48 a.m.
Did somebody
I was
just
at home
die
in
here?
bed
So, yeah,
asleep.
that's what you want to know.
On August 8, 1994, a call comes in to the district. The body of a young girl has been found in an empty parking lot.
That's
in the city's neighborhood
Eldorado,
side.
but not on 8.
Bob King is a homicide detective.
Right there on 7.
It looked like her body had been carried and then laid
That's 8th Street.
on its right
So it's
side.
a
All she
north
had
side.
on
Eldorado.
was
Yeah, that's
the
the north
t-shirt she had
That's
been
the one
wearing
that's
when she
coming
left
in
her
your
house.
house.
It was a Halloween t-shirt with a black cat and a pumpkin and a bat.
The 9-year-old is ID'd as Diana Rebollar. 12 hours earlier, she had left home on a walk to the grocery store to buy a sack of sugar for her mother.
I went to the store to ask, and they said she had left. I came back and I told my husband to call the police, and I went looking for her.
Be like first 48. I thought it'd be on first 48.
Walked from her duplex
Be on first 48.
northbound along North Main here to the Wing Fong Market. And people saw her as she went along her way.
But you
She
know,
bought the bag of
everybody
sugar,
that
and she was
that
on
do
her way
some
back.
somebody
A
always
man
get caught.
sitting on his porch saw her pass in front of him. Another man stopped and said, "Go home, mijita," and she said she was.
Diana was 2 blocks from her home when she simply vanished. The child has been sexually assaulted and strangled to death.
The ligature was peculiar in that it was a tourniquet, nylon cord, which turned out to be parachute cord, tightened with a bamboo stick.
King believes the tourniquet could be a signature unique to this killer. He shares photographs of the Rebollar crime scene with other detectives.
Sergeant Rick Maxey said, "Well, whoever killed Rebollar killed Estrada." And I said, "Who's Estrada?" And he said, "Well, we call her the Dairy Queen girl. She was murdered in April of 1992.
King pulls the cold file on the Estrada case. The more he reads, the more similarities he finds between the murders of Diana Rebollar and Maria Estrada.
Both had been strangled with the same peculiar tourniquet-style ligature. They were both Hispanic. They were both small in stature and young. Diana Rebollar was 9, Maria Estrada was 21, but she was very small.
King orders forensic testing on the Rebollar case, but there is no useful evidence. Semen from the Estrada case, on the other hand, provides a limited DNA profile.
We brought in many potential suspects who provided samples of their blood, their hair, their saliva for us to compare to the DNA in the Estrada case, but none of them ever matched.
After a year-long investigation, Detective King has come up with no viable suspect.
This kind of case can take a heavy toll on you. And if you don't find him, it's going to keep on. And more girls are going to die. So it becomes a life and death matter.
Would be the first thing I thought about when I got up in the morning, the last thing I thought about when I went to sleep at night, and all hours during the day.
The two murders would continue to haunt King until one day when a phone rings in a newsroom. At the other end of the line, a serial killer.
And then I asked him, I said, I am talking to the killer. And he hung up.
Riding into the darkest corners of your worst nightmares. Surviving cults and the houses of extreme believers. Crossing the yellow tape to solve what hasn't been. Adultery, jealousy, rage, and a murder. Missing among the mist to be found unjustifiably. A reporter shining a light on injustice. Crime stories told by the source, and even the killer. All this from Podcast One. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Here's what you unlock when you direct deposit with Dave Banking. Advance up to $200. There's no interest and no credit check. Celebrate payday up to 2 days early. You can even build your credit history with 1 year of level credit free. There's no overdraft fees and no minimum balance. That's Dave, banking for humans. Download now.
What's up, man? I'm deleting you. He's deleting us. No. Oh, yeah, right? Who's this guy think he is? No, guys, we're the perfect profile pictures, right? I mean, that's why I don't need you anymore.
Join the monastery?
What?
You know, I saw this comment. Is it a dog-friendly monastery?
No, guys, I met someone.
Aww.
Wow. I mean, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hinge.
Sorry, I'm late.
The dating app designed to be deleted.
No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
Games. 60 seconds. He's getting a red out $250,000.
$50,000. Hit him with the level brand. These guys are gonna go all the way.
Minute to win it on Game Show Central.
Barbara Magana works the assignment desk at KPRC in Houston. Among her duties, handle calls on the station's tip line.
I said, this is the tip line. He said, I have a tip for you. And I said, what would that be? And he said, there's a serial killer on the loose. And I said, okay, well, how can you prove this? And he said, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to tell you where you can find a body.
The caller directs Magana to a vacant field just beyond the city limits, where he claims police will find a woman's body.
I had asked him specifically point blank. I said, I'm talking to the killer. He didn't answer. He just kind of like, it was almost like a breath, almost like a sigh, almost like a relief sigh. And then I asked him, I said, I am talking to the killer. And he hung up.
There was nothing here. It was vacant. Weeds were approximately knee-high or better. And we'd started back in this area searching and didn't find anything.
Roger Wedgeworth is a homicide detective with Harris County. Acting on Magana's tip, he searches the field, hoping the whole thing is a hoax.
So we went to the northwest part of this vacant area, and as we were walking down, smelled a foul odor, which we recognized to be a decomposing flesh. And we followed that smell up to this area right in here.
Bedded down in the grass is the severely decomposed body of a woman. Around her neck, a rope, tightly bound with a toothbrush. The makeshift tourniquet warrants a call to Houston Homicide and Detective Bob King.
We had made the detectives with the Harris County Homicide Division aware of our cases, that we were looking for any murders involving maybe Hispanic victims who has been strangled with a tourniquet.
Detective King has worked two similar cases. The 1992 murder of Maria Estrada and the 94 murder of Diana Rebollar. The latest victim is 16 and ID'd as Dana Sanchez, a local girl who took a walk in the neighborhood and wound up dead.
These girls are all strangled. They're all strangled with a tourniquet-style ligature. They're all young, 9, 16, 21 years old. They're all very small in stature. They all have long hair, which we considered a factor for control.
The conclusion was that these three cases are linked up. So once that decision had been made, then the management decided to look, we need to pool our resources and work the cases together.
Sergeant Denny Billingsley leads a task force of city and county investigators in the hunt for the tourniquet killer.
Well, there was no doubt in our mind this guy's going to hit us. And we were just waiting for that to happen. I mean, our biggest fear was before we could get up on him, he was going to kill another woman.
For the suspects that looked really pretty good, myself and other detectives would go out, find him, try to get his cooperation.
Sex offenders that lived in the area, all those sort of things were run out and checked.
The investigators on this case have more than 50 years combined field experience. After 6 months, however, they have nothing to show for their efforts. With fresh crime on the rise, the task force is disbanded, and the murders of 3 young girls are returned to the cold files.
Dear CEO, what's it gonna take for you to do something? Yeah, do you even care?
Climate change affects all of us.
This is your chance to do something good.
Stand up if you are first generation college student. Stand up if you're a mother. If you are actively deployed, a veteran, or you're in a military family, please stand. The world in which we live equally distributes talent, but it doesn't equally distribute opportunity. And paths are not always the same.
I'm so proud of you, Dad.
I will tell you this, Southern New Hampshire University can change the whole trajectory of your life.
Sue's always on Redfin, but she's never toured a house until now. Pretty cool, huh? Pick your date and time, and a local Redfin agent will help you find
The one.
Let's do this. On-demand home tours from Redfin. That's real estate done right.
Did you know gravity and relativity were discovered by people working from home? Do you know what I discovered? Kale. Curly, dinosaur, red Russian, ornamental. Instacart opened my world to all kinds of discoveries. I discovered organic, wild caught, vegan lip gloss. I discovered this, that, these, and I'm just getting started. Instacart. More stores, more to discover. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first order.
You gotta decide for yourself who you want to be.
There's only one way this ends. Last man standing.
To the cold files. Seven years after their work on the task force, detectives Harry Ficaris and Roger Wedgeworth are still tracking killers and haven't forgotten about the one who likes to use a tourniquet.
You won't ever forget about a homicide that you've worked on, but especially this case because you know that there's a serial killer that was responsible for these people. So it's always there, and you're always wondering, well, when is he going to strike again?
Now working in Harris County's cold case unit, Ficaris and Wedgeworth begin with the murder of 16-year-old Dana Sanchez.
When her body was found, she was not clothed. And the only thing that was on her person was the ligature around her neck and a toothbrush that was used to tighten up that ligature. It was just one of those shots, in the dark, hoping that we could get something out of that.
Harris County sends the ligature to Orchid Cellmark Laboratories for DNA testing.
That was the only evidence that we had that we could process at all. And then, of course, whenever we sent it off, we found out everything was too degraded.
But then again, we knew that the city had some cases, so we started talking to them about processing some of their evidence with the new technology.
Detective Bob King pulls material from the other two tourniquet cases out of Houston's evidence locker.
Now, the Harris County homicide detectives on the cold case squad said we exclusively use Orchid Cellmark to test our evidence. And there is an analyst up there named Catherine Long who is just great, and she can find this evidence. If there is DNA to be had, she will find it.
Dude, once we open the fingernails, place them in a tube and place liquid on top of them.
In September of 2003, DNA analyst Catherine Long receives evidence from the Houston homicides. Long begins her testing on fingernail clippings from Maria Estrada.
Once we get the debris off of the fingernail, basically what we're doing is just opening up the cells and taking the DNA out, purifying it.
Long identifies an unknown male DNA profile from underneath the victim's fingernails, most likely skin from Maria's attacker.
When we finally got something that was male, especially under her fingernails, that's a pretty intimate thing, and it was a good feeling.
Long sends the profile through CODIS, a national database of DNA profiles taken from criminal offenders. An hour later, the analyst gets a call. CODIS has a hit.
The DNA profile actually matched somebody who was in the CODIS database, and that was Tony Shore.
I know with this profile, I just feel in my heart that it's going to be a conviction at that point.
The new suspect is 41 years old, with a criminal history that includes molesting his two daughters. The more Detective Wedgeworth hears, the better he likes his chances for a conviction.
Oh, I think somebody's going to jail. That's exactly what I think.
This is Larry. Larry rescues cats because saving is really important to him. And the zebra helped him save hundreds by comparing the top insurance companies side by side. Because there's no such thing as too much saving. At least when it comes to money. Save an average of $440 on car insurance. Compare and save at thezebra.com.
Safety was our number one concern. With Life 360, you feel safe that someone else is there who can give guidance right away.
As a parent, the safety of your family should be your priority. Life 360 makes this an easy job.
Modern family life means our loved ones are always on the move. But with Life 360's real-time location sharing and advanced driving safety features, you can protect and connect the people who matter most, and make sure they're on time for dinner.
Drive Market's here, and your life's about to get way easier. We save you tons on organic groceries, so you can get everything from pantry favorites to non-toxic cleaning essentials to sustainable meat and seafood. And without the big retail markups, you'll save up to 30% on the best products. We'll deliver what you need, so you can get back to your busy day. Join now and get $20 off your first order.
Linda is a little girl who loves yellow. She loves yellow flowers, yellow balloons, of course, the yellow sun, and a yellow sky. Why yellow, you may be wondering? Well, because yellow just makes things better. Like Chiquita banana. Healthier, tastier, and happier. You don't believe it? Try a bite. Chiquita. It's natural to be good.
When you're flying, you're just blown away. I'm afraid of junkie. I believe that fear is what brings the joy. You gotta be very precise about what you pick and do. It's a risky sport. It's insane.
Well, I was just on patrol, and a homicide sergeant in an unmarked unit got on the radio and asked for backup.
Less than 2 hours into his shift, Houston police officer Robert Farmer responds to a call for assistance on an arrest.
He just told me the man standing down the street wearing a black T-shirt is wanted for murder. Let's go get him.
The suspect is a convicted sex offender named Anthony Allen Shore. He's been linked by DNA to one murder and by MO to 2 others. Police approach Shore at the record yard where he works and tell him he's under arrest.
I told him to put his hands behind his back to handcuff him, and I noticed he had a cigarette in his hand. I told him to drop it, and he wouldn't drop it, so I cracked him on the knuckles with a flashlight to knock the cigarette out of his hand. And after that, there was no further resistance.
He was sitting in the chair against the wall, calm, cool, collective, so to speak.
Houston Homicide Sergeant John Swaim is known as a master interrogator. He is brought in to talk to Anthony Shore. The interview takes place in a 10-foot by 12-foot room.
So I showed him the scene photos, basically all of the scene photos in this Strata case. Now I was looking at him and see what his reaction was to the photos, whether he was going to have a reaction to the photos, which he did not, which concerned me. But, I'm thinking, well, it's going to be a long night.
For over an hour, Swaim questions the suspect about Maria Estrada, under whose fingernails Shore's DNA was discovered, about 9-year-old Diana Rebollar, and about 16-year-old Dana Sanchez, both of whom were also raped and strangled. For over an hour, the suspect offers nothing. Then, close to midnight, and for no apparent reason, Anthony Shore decides to talk.
Puts his hand on the photos of the 3 cases we knew he did. He says, John, I'm going to tell you about these cases, and I'm going to give you a couple of bonuses. What do you think about that? Of course, I think that's great. That's wonderful. And he's kind of looking down the floor, and then he looks up, looks right in my eyes, and says, does the name Laura Tremblay mean anything to you, John?
The name means a lot to Detective Swaim. In 1986, he was the lead investigator on the Laura Tremblay case, a 15-year-old girl who was raped and strangled to death. It was a case Swaim could never solve.
He could probably hit me with a feather, knock me over.
You're not suggesting
this was another case that I had worked on for many months. Never had a clue who did it.
Babies.
Let's start with at the start. Just tell me. First was Lori and Tremblay.
My guess.
And he's kind of got this little gleam in his eye, like he knew that I investigated the case.
I did her bra. Everything got out of hand. She freaked out, and we got into a fight. I tried to knock her out because I just really freaked out. It's not right. I took this cotton cord, and I tried to make sure that she would never, ever tell anybody. And I strangled her. And the cotton cord broke more than once. It wasn't working. That's all I
Did you
had.
just use your hands or did you use some kind of?
It was a cord, ligature.
Yeah, no, but I mean, did you use
Yeah, my hands.
your
My
hands?
fingers.
Well, it was my first one. He said, actually, I put my hand in there and twisted it. And when I did, I injured my finger. And so I decided I better start doing something else. And so that's basically why he used the tourniquet later on.
After confessing to the murder of Laura Tremblay, Shore moves on to another victim police have never connected to him.
Talk about another case that y'all don't know about.
Okay.
There's a reason I want to talk about this.
Okay.
That's what Tony, what's important about it. Want to tell me about this. He says, well, I didn't kill her. I fought off the evilness, and I was able to do so, and I didn't kill her. So it's important to me.
Got her cooperation and tied her up with electrical cord.
Let's see if he's at home.
And raped her. I thought that I was going to do this. I promised myself that I wasn't going to get in, no matter what. Sick and f***ed up as it sounds, I really, really, really was trying to get better in a really sick, demented way. I don't discount, I'm not stupid, but I was trying not to do what I promised myself I wouldn't.
Shore provides the name of his victim, 14 years old at the time of the attack, and says that it occurred in 1993, a year after he killed Maria Estrada. Shore admits that he didn't stop there, going on to kill Diana Rebellion and finally Dana Sanchez.
I was driving around. I saw this girl. She had this look that she was angry and upset. She was at a payphone.
He sees her on the phone. She hangs up. He can tell she's troubled. Something's wrong. I'm trying to get to my boyfriend's house.
Jumped right in. Oh, we weren't driving. I started flirting with her. And she was joking. No, I got a boyfriend. So I grabbed her, pulled her into the back of the van. She was fighting so hard that I didn't want it to happen. And once again, I knew that I couldn't stop. I knew there was nothing I could do to get out of this. And I used to ligature.
8 days after killing Dana Sanchez, Shore says he called the anonymous tip line at Local 2 News and told them where her body could be found. With 5 confessions on tape, the serial killer claims he has told all there is to tell.
He told me, John, I told you, I gave you 100%. I told you what I did, and that's all I did, and I gave you 100%.
Anthony Shore's a psychopath. He had for years permitted himself the pleasure of indulging in those psychopathic desires, and it was time to put an end to it.
Prosecutor Therese Boos decides to charge Anthony Shore on only one case, the one with the strongest DNA evidence, the case of Maria del Carmen Estrada. On October 21st, 2004, the jury finds Shore guilty of capital murder. In the penalty phase, Therese Boos seeks a death sentence and brings before the jury all of the other victims to clinch her argument.
They had no idea that they were going to be hearing about a serial killer.
Boos's strategy works. After less than an hour of deliberation, the jury punches Anthony Shore's ticket to death row.
It's like finally you're seeing some justice, finally. And justice has been served with him. He's on death row, and that's where he belongs.
Despite the conviction and Shore's confession tapes, investigators are not convinced they have it all and believe there might be more victims in the killer's past.
If you've got a female, strangled, ligature, you got evidence, check it against Shore. That's all I can.
The plan is that after he has been on death row for a while and he's forgotten and lonely, that maybe that he'll want to talk to us and open up about any other crimes he might have done.
Police are continuing to look at Shore's possible involvement in other crimes. If you have any information, please contact Sergeant John Swain at 713-308-3667.
Finding love shouldn't be a stretch. That's why I trust eHarmony. I'm done with swiping. There's a better way. That's why I trust eHarmony. I deserve better than swipe right or swipe left. That's why I trust eHarmony.
When it comes to connecting with someone real, compatibility matters. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Download the app and start free today.
This summer, let me tell you why you're experience epic heroes, explosions, and sunglasses.
How do you do it?
All the movies, all summer long.
I cannot believe it.
That was good. Popcorn summer movies, only on Pluto TV.
We require justice and we require equality. We are amazing. We are beautiful, intelligent, focused, driven women.
I know it's gonna sound crazy, but when an opportunity comes a knocking, which it never does, you gotta grab it.
Tonight, we are queens. Oh, when one of us wins, we all win.
This is our moment. Be true. Stand.
I will get us home together.
Dan, just work with me.
Hello, old friend.
You must not need to be frightened. I can't change my action, and I wouldn't.
Can't argue with results.
Well, let's get this party started.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Let's make some happy little clouds in our world. Let's get right up here. All we do is just sort of have an idea in our mind and we just sort of let it happen. And when you're painting, make up little stories. Think about the scene that you're painting. Become part of it. Make friends with a tree.
She was still alive at the time. She had this very, very distinctive, breathing going on. He had this look in his eyes. I won't forget that look. It's just like the stare that you stare down a victim. And if you say anything, you could be one too.
And we're on State Route 99, and we're in the area where Fresno County and Madera County meet.
Ben Grassmuck is an officer for the California Highway Patrol. Just before midnight, Grassmuck sweeps his beat, a lonely stretch along Highway 99.
And when we were still on the freeway, I happened to glance over there, and I saw a fire.
Grassmuck follows the flames into a nearby olive orchard. There, he discovers a body.
The torso was on fire, and I could see her, I'll never forget, her two legs sticking up out of the fire towards me. I immediately knew it was a woman, and I immediately knew she'd been murdered.
It appeared that she was relatively young.
Detective Kathy Starr responds to the scene.
There was extensive burning to the body. The victim was lying on her back. Her legs were up and open.
There aren't any homes in this area. It's not a widely traveled road here.
So to come in here, dump a body, set the fire, very unlikely that you're going to be noticed.
Starr combs the orchard for clues and happens upon some footprints in the dirt.
There were 2 sets of footprints. One appeared to have been wearing socks. The other was clearly a bare footprint.
The prints and nearby tire tracks are photographed. Meanwhile, at the morgue, the pathologist determines the victim was shot twice in the head.
This would be the first gunshot wound that exited here. This was the second gunshot wound where the .25 caliber bullet was recovered.
Starr believes the victim was shot dead, then set on fire in an effort to cover up the crime. The detective's next order of business, ID her victim.
We didn't know who the victim was. We weren't going to find out who the suspect was.
Starr puts out an APB on her Jane Doe, and then begins the waiting game.
There are a lot of missing persons cases. It's 4th of July weekend, so we were real uncertain as to how soon we were going to be able to identify this victim.
I know, I started to feel like something is wrong.
Ruth Pimentel has an uneasy feeling. Her best friend, Andrea Bourne, is missing.
Annie called me at 7 and said she was on my way to our house, and she was with Jay, and she never came home. And I think Jay's done something to her.
Jay is J.L. Travis, Andrea's boyfriend, and the last known person to see her alive.
I knew his history, I knew he was in jail. I knew that he had guns and that he held them to Annie's head in the past, and that she had told me that. So I really thought that something was wrong, and I told that to the police.
Fresno police take down the missing persons report and compare the details to Starr's bulletin about the burning body.
They have here is a white female adult in her 20s, 5'9", blue eyes, blonde hair. And that matched the information that we had taken so far in our Jane Doe.
Dental records confirmed the body to be that of Andrea Bourne.
You just kind of, your mind can wrap around this and say, okay, this is what happened to my beautiful, happy, sweet daughter.
Gloria Barnes is Andrea's mother. On July 7th, Detective Starr tells her Andrea is dead.
She said, well, we have made a positive identification on the body, and I'm really sorry to tell you that it is your daughter. And I just started to cry. They said, well, her body was burned beyond recognition.
As a mother deals with her pain, Kathy Starr gets on with the business of finding Andrea's killer. She starts with J.L. Travis.
Okay, the date is July 6th. My name is Detective Kathy Starr.
In a small interview room, J.L. Travis tells detectives he had nothing to do with Annie's disappearance, insisting he took her to a pool party on the 4th of July, then dropped her safely at home.
So I kissed her, and she got out of the car, and she shut the door. After that, she started walking to her door. She opened the door up, and I drove off.
He was avoiding eye contact. His body language suggested that he was not wanting to open up and be truthful with us.
It was very hard to believe him because he wasn't consistent.
Even when he was trying to act as though he was grieving for his lost girlfriend, it was so transparent. It's almost laughable how little he cared.
Detective Starr and Ginder question JL for hours, probing his story and searching for a motive. Eventually, JL takes the bait, telling detectives that just weeks earlier, Annie had met someone.
You had become aware of Annie's involvement with another person. Can you tell me about that?
I had paged her, because I put I love you in her pager. Then she had paged me back, and she told me, don't page her no more because she have a new boyfriend, and he don't appreciate me paging her. And I said, oh, I didn't know you had a boyfriend.
Jealousy. I think the victim was going to leave jail, and I think he was having a hard time coping with that. Jealousy makes people do some strange things.
Theories aside, detectives need more to put the cuffs on J.L. Travis. Star then asks her suspect for a look at his feet.
I was looking for anything on his feet that would be consistent with walking out in that orchard. As you can see, we have abrasions in his feet and small puncture wounds, which could very well have been made by the debris in that field.
Along with the abrasions, the size and shape of Travis's feet match up to the bare footprints found in the orchard.
There were similarities, yes. The shape of the toes, the way the toes overlapped here, the size of the big toe.
With the evidentiary trail heating up, Star decides she wants to examine Travis's car.
We compared the tire tracks, and they didn't match in size or tire impression to what we had at the crime scene. There was no blood, even on the windshield. There was negative for blood. Nothing.
Detectives have an intriguing circumstantial case, but not enough for an arrest. After more than 12 hours of questioning, Star releases J.L. Travis.
We knew we had our guy, and now it was just building the case so that we had enough evidence that we could convince the jury of that. We continually were trapping him in lies and inconsistencies. He was just not trustworthy.
J.L. Travis has talked at length about the day that Andrea Bourne was killed. Now Star takes her suspect's statements and tries to find the holes.
He had mentioned to me that after leaving the pool party and driving Annie home, his cousin Kevin Mitchell was with him. So we went looking for Kevin Mitchell.
Mitchell repeats the same story J.L. Travis told, save one small detail.
He was the one that initially told us that they were in Tracy Tavares' car. Tracy is J.L.'s other girlfriend. He has 2 children with her. There was no reason to not think that she had been murdered in that car. Even if she had been transported in that vehicle, there would have been trace evidence that would have been left.
Star pays Tracy a visit and asks to see her car.
Her story is, well, I'm sorry, my car was stolen. How convenient that her car is stolen 3 days after Annie's homicide. And that she forgot to mention to us the fact that she had loaned that car to jail that time.
Detectives don't believe Tracy Tavares any more than they believed her boyfriend. Star has Tavares pegged as a jealous and perhaps violent girlfriend.
She wanted Annie out of the way, and we felt that she had the influence over JL that she could make that happen. I think we tried every tact we could take with her to try to get her to fess up, to crack.
She was, I felt, very much going to stand by JL no matter what.
Yeah.
Detectives believe the best way to crack Tracy is to find her car. Within weeks, the vehicle is recovered in the garage at Kevin Mitchell's mom's house.
We're thinking, we've got our car. We're going to find the trace evidence in this car. When we searched the car, this car was pristine. It was cleaner than anything you would get off a showroom floor.
Tracy Tavares' car yields no connections to the murder. After 3 months, Star gets pulled off the case and onto fresh homicides.
It was very difficult to let go, yeah. Especially being so close and having to let go of it.
Andrea Bourne's murder slips into the cold files, where it will stay for 3 years until J.L. Travis's cousin, Kevin Mitchell, resurfaces with a story to tell and a finger to point.
We were just driving and I heard Jay, and that's when he shot her.
Do you know of any solved cold cases? Tell us at etv.com.
84% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. Makes sense. Managing your money can be hard. But what if there were a secret financial control center that helped you organize your spending by finding recurring charges and notifying you when they're due? so you can easily cancel unwanted subscriptions. Truebill helps you save money and lower your bills. Download Truebill, your all-in-one finance app.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Maybe not.
When it comes to home buying, pretty sure isn't sure enough. Find the right mortgage with a local broker and Rocket Technology. When you need to be certain, Rocket can.
No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
If there's anybody who can do this, it's you.
Close calls make you live harder. Watch The Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Both movies now streaming on Paramount Plus. Let's go. I don't know why you came all the way up here. There's nothing left.
There are people out there. People worth saving.
The Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 now streaming on Paramount Plus.
So you all heard the rumors, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll check the schedule.
Darkness has come into your life. That's not good, baby. You sound like you're starting to believe.
Every case deserves attention. This one cried for attention.
Vince Zavala is a one-man team working the oldest and toughest cases on the books, the cold cases.
Well, whenever fresh eyes look at a case, they may see something that the original investigator didn't see.
In 1999, Zavala picks up the unsolved murder of Andrea Bourne and digs in.
The Madera County Sheriff's Department had focused on 3 individuals: Jacob Lee Travis, Kevin Mitchell, and Tracy Tavares. When I reviewed the case file from the Madera County Sheriff's Department, naturally those 3 people jumped out at me as being primary suspects.
In 1997, the 3 were caught in a web of lies.
Travis and Tavares had been interviewed on 5 different occasions and given 5 different stories. Kevin Mitchell had been interviewed once and gave a completely different story.
Zavala begins the process of re-examining evidence and tracking down leads. 2 months later, he gets his first break.
The darkest corners of your worst nightmares. Surviving cults and the houses of extreme believers. Crossing the yellow tape to solve what hasn't been. Adultery, jealousy, rage, and a murder. Missing among the mist, to be found unjustifiably. A reporter shining a light on injustice. Crime stories told by the source, and even the killer. All this from Podcast One. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Shaq. Oh, what up, fellas? Remember you were talking about the General being great insurance, and we disagreed with you. When we stopped letting you sit with us at lunch. I do. Well, it turns out you were right. You just misjudged them based on their commercials.
They're actually a quality insurance company. Been saving people money for nearly 60 years. That's what I've been telling you. Can we sit with you, Milton? things now. For a great low rate and nearly 60 years of quality coverage, make the right call, go with the Children.
Becker, you're in early.
I just want to grab one of my smokes.
No offense, but you look like hell.
Well, I had a rough night.
Patient?
Yeah.
Are they okay?
Yeah, they're fine.
Oh, what kind of case was it?
It's a recurring condition.
Coffee?
Oh, all right, fine. I went back to see Sandra. That's what you wanted to find out, wasn't it?
No, I totally want the patient story. But this is better. So did you get the last word in again?
Oh, yeah. I believe my last words were wear my pants. God, Reg, I hate this. She has power over me, and she knows it.
I know you don't want to hear this, Becker, but I'm glad you went back.
Why?
If you repeat this, I'll deny it. But I've always been a little intimidated by you. You're this hotshot doctor. You walk around like you're better than everyone else. Like we're all dirtying up your world. And then this woman comes along who cheats on you, breaks your heart, and writes a book making you look like an idiot. And you go crawling back to her. And not just once. Again and again. You're just as screwed up as the rest of us. You know, and I can honestly say right at this moment, Becker, I like you.
It's not exactly my dream come true to be liked for being pathetic.
That's not what I meant.
So you're saying that you can only like me if I hit bottom? That you can only connect to someone if they're really low? I mean, is that what you've been waiting for? That's me, Reg. What does that say about you?
It's not going to work, Becker. I still like you.
Putting on a little weight there, aren't you, Reg?
That'll do it.
I was just sitting in the car, and she was still alive at the time, and she had this very, very distinctive breathing going on. I couldn't do anything to save her life. Couldn't do anything. I wanted to, but I couldn't because I was scared for my life.
As Andrea Bourne lay dying in the front seat, Mitchell says JL drove out to the olive orchard.
He laid her down and poured gas around her and then on her and then set it on fire, and we left. He had this look in his eyes. I won't forget that look. It's just like the stare that you stare down a victim. And if you say anything, you can be one too.
4 days later, Mitchell says, JL and Tracy Tavares were back, asking for the favor.
They called me over and they said, Kevin, I want you to get rid of the car. They said, don't worry about nothing, the insurance to take care of it.
You said at some point Tracy gave you the key.
Yeah, she took her key off her key ring and gave me her key.
That was an important statement because we knew that Andrea Bourne had been murdered in Tracy Tavares' vehicle. Now, Tracy Tavares, Jacob Lee Travis, and Kevin Mitchell.
Hey! Or should I say yo? Either turn down that stereo or roll up your windows, or better yet, get the hell out of here!
I don't care if your taste in music is MC, rap, daddy, dog, whatever. Just don't force me to listen to it. You know, I don't drive by his house and blast James Taylor, do I?
James Taylor? I know I'm blind, John, but exactly how white are you?
About as white as your cane there, Blinky. Coffee to go there, Red?
Go, thank God.
I swear the world would be a better place and let me get rid of 6 idiots a day, you know, thin out the herd a little.
You're not serious.
The hell I'm not. I could find 6 idiots before breakfast, still have my whole day ahead of me. For starters, I get rid of that guy out there with the boombox on wheels, and then, oh yeah, those people have hibachis and cooked chicken out on the street. I hate that. And then those cab drivers, you know, who think that showering is just for months with the letter R in them. Oh, Reg, little hint. Unlike wine, coffee does not get better with age. See you, Jay.
Hey, does that guy come in here often? Every day. Is he always like that?
Every day.
Oh, what happened?
Oh no, Becker got into another accident.
You know what he should do? Just hang tires around the outside of his car.
Please don't bring it in here. Please don't bring it in.
Some idiot just ran in. Reg,
Yes,
give me a...
I know, paper, pencil. You know, Becker, you gotta get one of those "How am I driving" bumper stickers. Give people something to read while they're waiting for the ambulance.
What's your problem? You didn't look, you didn't check, you just pulled out right at the hell I did. I signaled, yeah, right. You know, even if I hadn't, how could you miss a boat like mine? I mean, don't you know how to drive? I swear, you people make me nuts. You know, you're all over the road. It's that the rules don't apply to you. See you in court. Yeah, right. Surprised you can see anything. 4 eyes! I swear, you know, 6 a day. That's all I ask. 6 a day.
Who the hell is he? John Becker. He's a doctor. He's got an office a couple of blocks over. How sick do you have to be to go to that guy?
No, Mr. Stark, I checked. You did not leave your prosthetic leg here. I don't know. Why don't you try retracing your steps? No, I'm sorry. It just slipped out.
I know, I'm late. It's just so hard to get a cab in this city.
I thought you'd take the subway.
Yes, because I can never get a cab. Gee, Margaret, I listen when you talk.
Dr. Becker is late. When he comes in, tell him I'm in the back checking the inventory.
Okay, so what's going on? Is Dr. Becker in?
Just watch the desk.
I'm Rochelle Gelman. I'm here for my 9:15 appointment with the doctor.
Great, just sign in and he'll be right with you. But while you're waiting, I happen to be the new area rep for the Lady Fair Cosmetics and Skincare line. Please, let me show you our fine family of products.
When did you start selling cosmetics here?
Since I went a little nuts with my Visa card.
You got here quick. Morning. Okay.
What are you doing sneaking in the back door?
I'm not sneaking. I have to walk from the coffee shop, so I cut through the alley. You been back there lately? It's a magical world of bodily fluids.
What happened to your car?
Some dimwit plowed into it. It's a wreck.
How can you tell?
You know, every time I think God can't screw me any worse, he pulls out the old Black & Decker and twists a little harder.
Interesting. You're being persecuted by a God you don't believe in.
That's why he's after me, Mark. Well, your nose is not broken. If I were you, I'd stay off for a few days. So, what happened anyway?
There I am, minding my own business, and someone comes up and hits me on my nose.
A New York cabbie punched in the nose. Applause, applause, applause.
Peace, mine is an honorable profession.
Yes, of course it is, Mr. Haranya.
Haranya Garba.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so what'd you do to get him to hit you like that? Did you take him to the airport by way of Cuba? Was it a French Connection ride across town, or what'd you do? Did you screw with the meter so you could triple charge him? What was it?
You know, you passengers aren't any picnic. Stiffing me on fares, burning cigarette holders in my seats.
You know something, you're right. I apologize. I shouldn't just assume that this was your fault. How did it happen?
All right. It was the triple charging.
Thank you.
Ladies, nothing colors your world like the right lipstick. Now, Mrs. Carigliani, you're an autumn, so I think you should try Forever Taupe. That way you can wear your lips to work and to an elegant evening out at a chic club or discotheque.
Perfect.
Now let's try this one.
What is going on here?
I'm trying to bring out Mrs. Carigliani's cheekbones. Hang tight, it could take a while.
Ladies, would you take your seats, please? This is a doctor's office, not Bloomingdale's. Linda's World of Beauty is closed.
It's not like the patients have anything else to do while they wait.
But you do.
Oh, come on, Margaret, I'm just trying to make some extra money.
You're going to have to find a new way to make any money if I catch you doing this again.
Mr. Kimsey, how you doing?
Not so good. I got a pain.
Feeling nauseous?
Well, not really nauseous, but there's this pressure.
120/80.
Good. Your pulse rate is slightly elevated, but nothing too bad. Are you feeling any pain or numbness in your neck or your arms?
Well, not really, just the pressure.
Yeah, where exactly is that pressure? Right there. That's what I thought. Margaret, I think we're all right here. I want to do an EKG just to play it safe.
Okay, I'll go set it up.
Let me ask you something. What did you have for breakfast?
A pastrami sandwich.
For breakfast. Do you have pickle too?
You gotta have the pickle.
Yeah, I don't think we're dealing with a heart problem.
Yeah.
With your family history, I understand your concern, so promise me, make an appointment, come back and do a full workup.
All right, well, what about the pain?
Here, show them these.
What are they?
Antacids. Margaret will be back in a minute. Got out of there just in time.
This is unbelievable.
Dr. Becker seen it? I sure hope he hasn't seen it.
We're going to find out. Here he comes.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Boy, beautiful day out there.
Definitely hasn't seen it.
Ah, Mr. Williams. Eggs, bacon, hash browns. I see you jumped right into that low cholesterol diet I put you on.
I was going to start that tomorrow.
Don't worry about it. In here, I'm not your doctor. Just think of me as a private citizen who's telling you you're slowly killing yourself. Reg, have one of my cigarettes, please. Those who can't teach. What's going on in here?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing that I know.
All right, what's going on?
Oh, well, you're going to see it eventually.
See what? Neighborhood doctor dispenses racism.
My boss.
John Becker.
Yelling that I'm late on my
Poisonous words filled a neighborhood eatery. His foul tirade smeared African Americans, Asian Americans, the blind.
Weren't you the busy bee?
I heard shots.
I didn't say any of this. Who's this Jerry Tetzloff anyway?
Well, he has a weekly column. He must have been in here that morning.
What morning?
The morning I had that accident. Keep reading.
Becker even trotted out the tired stereotype that Asian Americans are bad drivers, invoking the loathsome code words, you people. Well, this guy's perverting everything I said.
And even worse, he didn't mention the name of the diner. I could use a little free publicity.
Yeah, I think you put your finger on the real tragedy here, Reg. I mean, this is crap. It's all lies. I didn't say any of that, right?
Well, technically you did.
What?
But you didn't mean it, not like how he said.
Yeah, John, you gotta admit it. You leave a hell of a first impression. What are you talking about? Okay, let's show of hands here. When you first met him, who thought that John was a horse's ass? Yeah, that's a mighty strong breeze. You two are supposed to be my friends, and you got a prostate exam coming up.
I changed my vote.
Yeah, I thought you might. You know something? I'm gonna find this guy and scream loathsome code words till his ears bleed.
He showed me what to watch.
I hate to say this, but
Poor
Becker.
Yeah, feel sorry for him. Doesn't anyone feel sorry for me? I'm the one who has to get the prostate exam.
Hey, Linda, you got any of that revitalizing cream left?
I got everything you need. Revitalizer, refresher, body count. But be cool, okay? Look, come back this afternoon and give me the money. I'll give you the stuff.
Great.
Oh, and I just got in a shipment of bath beads.
Are they any good?
Primo.
I know.
What the hell is this?
Margaret, I was misquoted. I didn't say any of that.
Well, I assumed that. But I swear, John, there are just some times when you need to keep your mouth shut. You are a respected member of this community. People listen to what you have to say. God help them.
I'm going to sue that guy. I'm going to sue the whole paper. I'm going to sue the kid that delivers the paper.
John, do yourself a favor. Let it go. If you go off on this guy, you'll just give him something new to write about. Just leave it alone and it'll go away by itself. Mr. Kimsey, what are you doing here?
You all right?
There's something I have to say to you, and I want to do it face to face.
Sure, go ahead.
I read the paper this morning, and
Oh, no, wait.
I don't want you to be my doctor.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't want anything to do with you.
Mr. Kimsey, please, don't.
For this college trip, the 5 rounds of African
Yes. Something.
How many shots did you hear?
John, are you all right?
What am I supposed to do? People are believing what they read.
They were
You
so
could go down there and cause a big scene, or you could sue everybody in sight, or maybe, just maybe, you could learn something from this.
Yeah, learn what? You know, I see people doing something stupid. I tell them they're doing something stupid. I have opinions. I express it. What's wrong with that?
John, opinions are like butts. Everyone's got one, but you don't want to see yours in the newspaper.
No, from now on, no matter what I think, let's keep my mouth shut.
You couldn't keep your mouth shut if you were underwater.
You know, I'm sick of people telling me they know me better than I know myself. There's nothing more annoying than a bunch of self-righteous know-it-alls telling me. Oh, boy.
Thank you.
Doctor's office? Yeah, it's Linda. Look, I'm not running a charity here. If you want the stuff, you gotta pay. Oh, you think you can do without the eyeshadow? You just wait, you'll be back.
Linda, I have warned you about this. It is completely unprofessional to sell cosmetics in a doctor's office. You do this sort of thing all the time, and your skin looks wonderful. What are you using?
Lady Fair Moistacular.
Did you get me some of them?
Well, I'd love to. But, ooh, I know I can't. You see, it would be completely unprofessional for me to sell you cosmetics in a doctor's office.
Well, that depends on who's running the doctor's office.
Maintain the
you write the column, Mr. Tetzloff? Well, basically to show that supposedly respectable citizens like Dr. Becker turn out to be nothing more than racists.
Hi, Becker.
Oh, hey, John.
Guys, look, about that article, I'm really trying to put it behind me, so I'd appreciate it if we just didn't talk about it anymore.
Okay.
No problem. Hey, that Tetzloff guy sure is tearing you a new one on the radio, isn't he, Doc?
Eight locations to serve. This is Phil Morrison. You're listening to Talkback of WTSE. You were saying, Mr. Tetzloff? Well, it comes down to the fact that guys like Dr. Becker seem to enjoy spreading hate. Now, the people of this community should fight back and tell him that they will not put up with his racist attitudes.
Don't worry, I'm not going to get upset. The smartest thing I can do is just walk away from this. I just want to keep my self-respect, my dignity.
What's going on at that radio station, Indy?
Oh, yeah.
Look out!
This Dr. Becker's as bad as you say in the column. He's the kind of guy that makes the world, man. That's...
Want me to keep bats on the path of destruction?
Yeah, right. Bad. Thanks for taking a stand. We're here talking about racism, and what we're finding is we're all against it. All lines are open. Lots of lines. Oh, don't worry, we'll call security.
No, that's the guy. That's Dr. Becker.
Really? He looks pissed. Let's have him in. That should break things up.
Tetzloff, you are a lying, bottom-feeding, low-light publicity whore.
No, Dr. Becker, please, come in. Sit down.
What? I don't want to talk on the radio.
This will be fine. Seriously, sit down. Sit down. Oh, this is great. We have John Becker here, the racist doctor Mr. Tetzloff wrote about. Go ahead, you're on the air. Talk. Talking to the mic.
I'm interested in a new watch.
All right. This guy took a private conversation and turned it into something that it wasn't. Well, then maybe you could tell me what it was.
You said to an Asian man, you people can't drive.
Yes, you people as in you lousy drivers. I didn't care where he came from. All I cared about was where he was going, which was into the side of my car. I never said that he was a bad driver because he was Asian.
So you do believe that Asian Americans are bad drivers?
I never said that they are bad. Oh, come on. This is stupid.
No, but isn't they just a racist code word? Another way of saying those people?
They is not a code word. They is a pronoun. We can't use pronouns anymore.
By we, you mean white Americans just like you?
Oh, come on. White Americans, you play this?
I love this. It's like a real show. Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bill. Long time listener, first time caller. Guys like this doctor make me sick. Have a t-shirt.
Good point. No shirt.
This woman just proves everything I've been saying for years. People dumber than talk radio listeners are talk radio callers.
Shut up, John. For once in your life, just keep
Officer
your mouth shut.
Colefeldt, are you Edgar Kalou?
Made up of the infirm, the unemployed, and the insane.
Tom, with one sweeping generality, you've smeared this man's entire audience.
It's okay. He's right. Mr. Tetzloff, in your column, you also say that Dr. Becker insulted a black man.
That's correct.
A blind man.
Hey, wait a minute. It's the same guy. You can't count him twice.
Remind me, Reg. Why do I like him?
Come on, Becker. Just say the name of the diner. Just say the name.
Yeah, besides, he's a friend of mine. It's the only reason why I go into that place. Certainly not for the food.
Don't say the name. Please don't say the name.
The whole point of my article was to show that racism is alive in this city, and Dr. Becker here is living proof.
I am not. I have strong opinions. Yeah, I admit that. I have likes, I have dislikes, but none of them are racially motivated. Everything I say is motivated purely by stupidity.
Did he mean to say that?
That's a good one, John.
Come on. You know what I meant.
Well, I certainly know what you meant when you maligned rap music, clearly an expression of African American culture.
I did not. I said I didn't like loud music. All right. I don't like rap music. Is that okay with you? I don't like polka music either. but I like Polish sausage. I hate Chinese checkers, but I love French fries. I hate Belgian waffles, love German shepherds. Can't stand English muffins. Here's a real puzzler. Hate Danish cheese, love cheese Danish.
Yes, Doctor, that's very clever. But what about that mean-spirited swipe at Puerto Ricans?
Puerto Ricans?
You made a crack about people who barbecue on the street.
Those are Puerto Ricans. I didn't say that.
Yes, well, we all know that's what you meant.
No, that's not what I meant at all. I was talking about some guy who lives down the street from me. I don't know where he comes from, but he cooks his dinner on the sidewalk, and that's just stupid. You know something? You are the one that's making this about Puerto Rico.
That's not what I did at all.
That's exactly what you did. Same thing with your column. You took a private conversation, you imbued it with racial overtones, all under the guise of political correctness. You know, so that concept was meant to make us more sensitive to each other, but instead, all you did was use it to perpetuate some ugly stereotypes.
Well, that certainly wasn't my intention.
Yeah, well, that's what you did. Let me tell you one more thing. You know, not because of where you come from. I just don't like you. And something you're free not to like me either, as long as you do it for the right reasons. And if you don't like that, you can kiss my ass.
Great show!
Yes, sir. Many things that condition motive, opportunity, hard evidence, best of all. This is fair with the law. It always is a matter of compliance. How are you feeling? Fine, sir. Very good. The evidence is overwhelming. They can't be them and they can't be eaten by the devil. Bring that confession on, folks. This is your chance.
It's a mistake.
Don't fail me.
Day 2 of the Robinson surveillance. Rick Roth works the lead vehicle of a 6-car team tailing the suspect. At a little after 2 p.m., Robinson leaves Olathe and begins to head out on Route 169 into the Netherlands of eastern Kansas.
Several of us got lost. We had no communication whatsoever. Our police radios failed. They were out of range. Our cell phones wouldn't work. Several officers just drove around until we located each other.
Robinson leads officers to an 18-acre piece of land with a single trailer home set precisely in the middle of nowhere, perfect for a serial killer.
We had made the decision that this was going to be a covert investigation. We did not want Robinson knowing anything about it. So basically, we waited for him to leave.
Robinson stays inside the farmhouse for the better part of an hour, then gets in his car and heads back to town.
Obviously, we wanted to get on the property to see if there was any burial sites or any bodies here. But we needed evidence. We needed a reason to get a search warrant to get on here.
The team lacks probable cause for a warrant and must bide its time. Meanwhile, back at Olathe, another part of the task force goes to work, picking through the suspect's trash. Jack Boyer is expert in reading the tea leaves of a homicide investigation. Only in Boyer's case, the tea leaves are actually bags of garbage.
Trashing's involved actually going to someone's house and picking up their trash, and then we leave other trash bags in their place so that they're not suspicious of it.
Boyer begins switching out John Robinson's trash twice a week. The suspect has shredded all his receipts and personal documents, but investigators persevere, getting out some tape and fastening together the pieces of what they hope will be a clue.
We were very lucky in the respect that we got several pieces of paper that we were able to tape back together. We found out where he was making payments to a couple of storage lockers.
2 storage lockers located just across the border in Raymore, Missouri.
We had no good physical evidence against John Robinson. We tried to get into his lockers with cameras, with surveillance. We never could pull it off until we had some evidence to get us into his home or his storage locker. We were at a standstill.
This is Gabi. It stands for Get a Better Insurance. To help get the word out, we are paying Gabis everywhere to change their names.
Gabi.com uses your policy to compare rates, so you save big on your home and auto coverage.
Ditch your old insurance like a bad day at Gabi.com. This is Gabi. It stands for Get a Better Insurance. To help get the word out, we paid this family to rename their dog.
We're so proud to name our dog after the only website that puts your home and auto policies to the test.
Come here, Get a Better Insurance. Come on, girl.
This summer,
let me tell you why you're
experience Epic explosions and sunglasses.
How do you?
All the movies all summer long.
That was good.
Popcorn summer movies. Only on Pluto TV.
What?
No, I'm going in.
No offense, but you look like a cop.
I look like an FBI special agent.
You look like a cop dressed up as an FBI agent for Halloween.
It's time to make the FBI great again. This will not be another Waco. Not on my watch. Oh, does it matter that I said not on my watch and I'm not wearing a watch?
If I want things to change, be the change.
I'm tired of fighting this battle. This is our moment. A true stand. Dan, just work with me. I can't change my action, and I wouldn't. Can't argue with results.
Let's get this party started.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
What Robinson has stored inside the lockers remains as much a mystery as the boarded-up farm the suspect visits. To get inside either, detectives need a search warrant, the grounds for which will be provided by a woman who wants John Robinson arrested, not for trying to kill her, but for stealing her sex toys. In a small town called Olathe, a murder investigation begins to gain steam as a team of investigators builds their case against John Robinson, a local they believe killed at least 4 women and an infant.
You know, he was a complete, I guess, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Keith O'Neill is a captain in the Overland Park PD and works the point on John Robinson's surveillance. His job, follow the suspect around town and see what he does with his day.
From 8:30 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, he would be out. He would meet other females. We found out about some girlfriends that he had. But by 5 o'clock, virtually every day, he was home when his wife got home. They had dinner together, and he looked like an all-American family after 5 o'clock each day.
O'Neill discovers Robinson has women set up in a string of hotels throughout the area. One of them, the Extended Stay Hotel. Detective Mike Lowther is assigned to cover the location.
On a particular day, one local hotel did call us and informed us that he had made a reservation and that a woman had checked into the room that he had reserved.
The detectives rent a room adjoining Robinson's and wait for their suspect to arrive. When he does, investigators press their ears to the wall and listen as Robinson explains to the woman what he would like her to do.
At first, the conversation was very cordial. It was basically an introduction to her of the BDSM lifestyle, the rules that govern it.
BDSM stands for bondage, discipline, and sadomasochism, a type of sexual lifestyle that involves handcuffs, chains, and a master-slave relationship. In this case, with Robinson playing the role of master.
His voice became a little sterner, a little more demanding. I could hear the sound of chains rattling.
Detectives in the room adjacent to Robinson are in a difficult spot, not sure if they are listening to an argument over rough sex or a prelude to murder.
We hear screaming, slapping. If that was any normal situation, we probably would have broken down the door. Under this one, we had to hold off and make a decision how much screaming was someone in trouble and how much of it was part of the BDSM lifestyle.
We didn't know if he would actually kill them or hurt them inside the hotel room or not, but of course we were concerned about that.
The surveillance team decides to sit tight, believing the woman to be safe and unwilling to blow their cover. They make the right decision. Robinson exits the hotel, and the woman eventually checks out, apparently unharmed. A month later, the woman identified by detectives as Vicky Neufeld turns up again, filing a complaint against Robinson for stealing a bag filled with her favorite sex toys. Another of Robinson's sex slaves also comes forward, claiming Robinson played a little too rough in one of their encounters. Detectives believe these women might be the break they are looking for.
When those two women came forward and wanted to press charges, that was the linchpin that put the case together. Everything that we had up to that point was pretty circumstantial, but when they came forward with actual charges against him, it opened the door for us to go ahead with the search warrants, and that led to his arrest.
On June 2nd, 2000, a judge grants an arrest warrant for John Robinson on a charge of battery. He also signs a slew of search warrants on Robinson's home, his rural farmland property, and his storage lockers. The team will look for Vicky Neufeld's sex toys, but hopes to find evidence of much more.
No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
Every page, the girl back at the shoe store. Put 5 grand in the back. He's a bastard. Whatever you got what was coming. But he had nothing to do with me. You shot Gage in real life. We can put you in the same. You can't prove anything. You know all about the argument. You think her testimony is going to stand up in court? You're going to the gas chamber.
Reg, open up already.
God, it's the creature that doesn't sleep.
Come on, wait it. Why are you keeping me waiting out there? I've already been hit on by a junkie, 2 bums and a hooker. Always nice to see a family working together, though, isn't it? I need coffee to go.
It's brewing. Don't you ever just wake up and think, wow, what a beautiful day. Isn't it great to be alive?
Where'd you grow up? In a greeting card?
Well, you're always so cynical. I don't understand why you can't be more positive.
Oh, I'm positive. I'm positive that every single day the evil forces of nature are out there waiting to screw me.
Wow, how do you get through a day with that attitude?
I have a cup of coffee.
All right, I heard you the first time. So why are you up so early anyway?
I gotta get into the office. I promised a friend of mine I'd do him a favor. It's already biting me in the ass.
Gee, you're making such a fuss. What'd you promise him you'd do? Give him a kidney?
No, I'm gonna need my kidney for my coffee. No. I told him I'd write an article in his medical journal. It's due in 2 days. I don't even know what I'm going to write yet. You know, when am I going to learn my lesson? I just can't say no to people.
Oh, yeah, clearly that's your problem. You're too accommodating.
Had a great time last night.
I had 2 great times.
See you for lunch?
I'm hungry already.
I miss you.
I'll miss you more. Bye.
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 Bye. I forgot to get rid of that woman. Morning.
What's going on, Jake? I thought you liked Amy.
Oh, I do. We have a great time, but this morning she went and she ruined it.
How?
Left her toothbrush in my
Have a
bath.
word with the chief of police.
The bitch.
First she leaves a toothbrush, then it's some makeup, then it's a change of clothes.
Which means?
Come on, Reg, it's obvious. She wants to move in. I mean, women are like armies. Before they invade, they stockpile supplies at the border. I mean, she's already talking about rearranging my furniture, which doesn't work for me on a number of levels.
I don't know, Jake. Maybe she's just looking for the relationship to progress.
See, that's what I'm talking about. What is it with women? Why do they have to take a beautiful, sexy thing like dating and then just suck all the fun out of it?
They're practicing for marriage.
Come in for sweats. Leave as a squad. What we value most shouldn't cost more.
Why do women always have to scream when they're surprised? Can't you just clutch your heart and drop dead like a man? Oh, brother. What are you doing?
Sleeping. Oh, coffee.
What? Oh,
God. Oh, what's going on? What are you two doing here?
What are you two doing here?
What are you doing?
I came in to open the office. What are you doing
I
here?
came to write that stupid article.
You haven't done that yet.
No, I haven't done that yet.
Well, what is she doing here?
Do I look like the concierge? I walked in here, she's sleeping.
You were sleeping here?
I was till he came in.
Well, why were you sleeping here?
Well, the table in exam room 1 was too hard. The table in room 2 was too soft. The Dr. Becker's chair was just...
Linda!
I live here now.
Why is she living here?
Ask her.
Why are you living here?
Okay, here's the thing. I found this great new apartment. So I left my old one and I rented the new one.
So why aren't you living there?
Okay, here's the thing. The end of my old lease and the beginning of my new lease didn't exactly dovetail the way I hoped. So I just need to stay up for 3 more days. Can I please? Can I?
Oh, fine. But just get out of here right now. I need to write this
Oh,
article.
thank you, Dr. Becker. I really appreciate it. And to prove it, I'm going to show you a whole new Linda. Thank you.
No, don't.
I'm going to be the best assistant that you ever had.
Shouldn't be too tough. The last one robbed you at gunpoint.
Hey, Becker, you got a minute?
No, I really don't. I need to write this article.
You haven't done that yet?
No, I haven't done that yet. I don't even know what I'm writing. Would you please just leave me alone?
Sorry I bothered you.
Wait. I don't want to be insensitive. You're not dying, are you?
No.
Great. Take a hike.
Jake, I really like you. The time we spend together is great.
Oh, yeah.
And we just get along so great.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it could be even better if we moved in together. But there's a problem.
Oh, yeah? I mean, what problem?
It's your cat. You know how allergic I am, and the pills just don't help. So if you want to take this step, well, I'm sorry, but you'll have to find another home for the cat.
Oh, boy. I don't know. I've had that cat for so long. I mean, when he curls up in my lap and purrs, I get this safe, warm feeling. I mean, it feels good when you do that, too. But getting rid of him would be like losing a part of me. I've lost enough already.
I feel terrible. I had no idea your cat meant that much to you. I need to think.
I'll call you, okay?
All right.
Jake, that was low. You just got that cat and it doesn't even have a name.
Oh, my. Look, I like Abby. I'm just not ready for that kind of commitment. And it was a clean out. And the best part, I'm not even the bad guy.
All men are not evil. It's only a few. All men are not evil. It's only a few. You want a refill?
No. Damn it, Reg, I was this close to an idea.
Well, as long as you're on a break, I need to ask you a favor.
Oh, good. Another favor.
This isn't like that article. This is something you can do. This woman I know, she and her husband have been trying to have a baby. They haven't had any luck, and, well, they can't figure out what they've been doing wrong.
Take him into your men's room. There's a doodle on the wall that illustrates the whole process.
Becker.
All right, fine. Just tell him to come see me. Please, just let me have 5 minutes.
Okay.
John.
What?
I just used my cat to get rid of a girlfriend. Was that wrong? You got a cat that gets rid of people? Can I borrow it?
Hello? Whoa. Who the hell are you?
I'm Alexi, new super for building. I come to fix light in bathroom.
What? Hold on a second, pal. What happened to the other guy? What's his name? Ernesto.
Went back to Dominican Republic to pick bananas or run for president. Who cares? Now, you want me to fix light, or should I just go screw up myself?
Look, I'm trying to write an article here. Yeah, I need some peace and quiet. Can't you come back some other time?
You think you're the only one who is needing Alexi in the building? I got freaking Mrs. Mochnik bitching me up about her noisy toilet. And this big nose, Wilson from Tusi, bugging me about his stinking oven. You can all go kiss me on my ass.
Hey. Corbin, relax. You can fix the light.
Thank you so very freaking much. Like I am needing this. Back home in Russia, I was leading economist.
Yeah, right. That explains why they're doing so well over there.
Son of a bastard!
And son of a bitch!
Excuse me so very freaking much.
Linda is a little girl who loves yellow. Why yellow, you may be wondering? Well, because yellow just makes things better. Like Chiquita Banana. Try a bite. Chiquita, it's natural to be good. What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
I live here, remember?
Oh, yeah, right. But can't you go right now? I got to write this article.
Haven't done that yet?
No, I haven't done that yet. Now go.
Oh, thank you.
What? Oh, no.
Sorry, forgot my hairdryer. Sorry, forgot my towel.
Dr. Becker's office. Oh, hi. Really? You haven't gotten that article yet. Well, I know you finished it. I'm sure you will have it later today. Bye.
Does this look like later today? This is not later today. This is later today. This is next week sometime.
Well, somebody had to put some fire under your butt.
All right. Fine. I don't have a patient for an hour. I'll just go lock myself in the office and write this stupid article. I tell you something, though. I'm never going to do a favor for anyone else ever again.
Oh, there's a couple waiting in your office that Reggie sent over. You said that you could see them as a favor.
All right. I just can't catch a break around here.
Need some help carrying that cross, or can you make it alone?
Mr. and Mrs. Carbone, I'm John Becker.
Maria. This is my husband, Benny.
Yeah, how are you?
So I understand you're having some trouble conceiving.
I'm not doing it in no cups.
Shut up.
Yeah, let's not jump to the party quite yet, shall we? Look, this could be a medical problem, or it could be as simple as your husband's choice in underwear.
I don't wear no underwear.
Okay, glad to know that.
Look, Doc, I want a baby so badly. I'll try anything.
No, she won't. I suggest things all the time, but she won't go for it.
Shut up.
You know, Doc, I got a theory about this. In high school, it was never the nice girls that got knocked up. It was always the sluts.
Shut up!
So if she would just spice things up a little bit, outfits, bigger breasts, that sort of thing, maybe my guys would have something to shoot for.
Look, Benny, we could sit here and talk science all day. It could be any number of things. It could be environmental factors.
Hear that? Environmental. I told you we should do it outside.
Shut up!
Look, here's what I want to do. I want to take some baseline tests, check out your general health, and then we'll take it from there, okay?
Thank you. You're very kind. I'm going to thank Reggie for sending us to you.
Oh, believe me, so am I.
Hey, Doc, talk her into some bigger breasts. There's more where that came from.
Well, at least the power is back on. Yeah. Oh, hi. No, you're kidding me. You haven't gotten that article yet. Well, damn it. Margaret was supposed to fax that to you this afternoon. Oh, I promise. First thing in the morning. I am lying my ass off. I'm sleeping.
Dr. Becker, it's Linda, and I know you're not sleeping because you're talking.
All right. What?
Okay, here's the thing. My new apartment fell through, so I'm going to need to stay in the office for a few more days, just until I find a new one.
Fine. That couldn't have waited until tomorrow?
Well, I'm starting to get creeped out down there by myself. I was wondering maybe if I could stay here.
Oh, no. I gotta work.
Got any cookies?
No, don't.
See you in the morning.
I gotta stop answering it.
Oh, no! What the hell are you doing here? Great, and Alexis' shower is stuffed, so I'll use yours. You need shampoo.
You didn't even fix your own shower?
I'm on the list.
Is that my towel?
Oh, you want it back?
No, I don't want it back. No, I don't want you coming to my apartment without permission. And I sure as hell don't want you using my shower.
Okay. You Americans with your one person to an apartment. I go to 5A and watch TV. They got big screen and DVD.
Yeah, what? Just go, will you? I got an article to write.
You haven't done it yet?